Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the WorryFree Retirement, with your host, retirement specialist and six-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
Well, welcome, folks, to the WorryFree Retirement. And yes, I'm that little man in the sweater vest, retirement planning specialist and full-time fiduciary, Tony Walker. And our focus today is this article. Actually, as we'll soon find out, there are more and more articles just like this one, reminding retirees that of all the worries one might have in planning for the maze of retirement decisions you'll be forced to make, the one decision everyone is forgetting about is what is going to happen to you and your money, not if something happens to your advisor, but when. And it's not just the fact that there will soon be a shortage of highly trained financial advisors to assist savers with their ongoing plans to remain worry-free in retirement. There is the real possibility that even if your advisor has no plans on retiring themselves, there is the possibility that the advisor in whom you have placed your trust and your money with could die, become disabled, injured in an accident, and yes, simply change firms and leave you and your account to fend for themselves. So the question we will answer today is this one. How does Tony Walker Financial currently address the issue that when something happens to Tony Walker, again, not if, but when something happens to me, what is going to happen to the clients and their plans who are promised a worry-free retirement after Tony's long gone? So if it has just dawned on you that your advisor has no business continuation plans in place to be there for you when they step out, or if you're that saver who is in the mind of shopping around for an advisor and you've never thought to ask them this question, what happens to me and my money and my plans for retirement when something happens to you? Well, stay tuned as we address this ongoing concern in the financial world that fewer and fewer advisors are entering the business and how we at Tony Walker Financial have got you covered. I'm Tony Walker, and this is the Worry-Free Retirement. We'll be right back.
This Tony Walker Financial Better Business Bureau review comes to us from Annie. True to their slogan, Tony Walker Financial really does take the worry out of retirement planning. More than that, they set the bar very high when it comes to customer service. From our first phone call and visit with Tony Walker Financial, we felt taken care of. Their competence and kindness shines through in every encounter. Tony Walker Financial truly embodies excellence, and other service organizations would do well to emulate the Tony Walker Financial approach. We have never been disappointed with Tony Walker Financial, as they continually exceed our expectations. We always leave their office feeling as if a weight has been lifted off of our shoulders. If you'd like to read more of our 5-star reviews, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
With the financial world facing a looming crisis and replacing the financial advisors who, for many reasons, are leaving the fold and thus leaving their clients left to wonder who will step into the picture to handle their retirement accounts, the question years ago tossed at me when doing educational seminars was this: Tony, what happens to me and my money when, not if, when something happens to you? It was then, and still is today, a great question, but not just to be asked of a little man in a sweater vest, but a question that should be front and center before ever investing a dime of your hard-earned retirement money with an advisor who cannot answer this question. With that said, I thought this would be a good time to bring into the studio one of those persons who is here to assist our clients both today and hopefully long after Tony Walker can no longer do so. That's right, folks, my very own favorite son-in-law and fiduciary, Mr. Trey Juergens. Hello, Trey.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. And this is kind of a personal show between you and I because obviously you're my son-in-law. I offered you a gig here roughly, was that 8-9 years ago? How long has that been?
About 8 years ago.
Okay, so let's take us back a little bit and your past prior to joining Tony Walker Financial and the road I put you on in terms of the training and everything that went into our process here.
Yeah, so my background was kind of in marketing. That's kind of how I came on, helping with some projects and website and some different digital things. Very quickly learned the life insurance world, cut my teeth in life insurance, helping our clients with current policies, new policies, became registered in 2020. And then shortly after, worked on a lot of planning, new business, and just really learned by osmosis through the process. So it's been a great opportunity and really appreciate it.
Well, and you've done such a good job, and you're seeing more and more clients, and you're meeting a lot of people. A lot of times I'll meet them on the first appointment, but then you get to meet them if they're moving forward or have questions. And what are you seeing out there in the industry? If we can put that article back up, Aaron. I mean, this is a real problem. I mean, we've got people leaving in droves, people retiring, people dying. So coming into Tony Walker Financial, what are you seeing in the financial world out there? And our feedback we're getting from prospective clients who are kicking the tires here.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a sink or swim industry. And we're seeing a lot of advisors leaving. A lot of new advisors, rookie advisors, are leaving the industry within 5 years, most within the first 3 years. We're given the opportunity, having senior mentorship through you and learning through our process, we're not under pressure to sell. Heather, Wes, and I are all salaried fiduciaries. We just get to give good advice based on the game plan we design for our clients. And we're not having to try to go pitch a bunch of products and go prospect new clients. We have the opportunity to just meet with our clients and really learn from our process.
And we've even talked about demographics in general. One of the problems, I think, you and I have discussed this in detail, with the baby boomers all retiring. And, you know, let's face it, there's not as many young people as there used to be, this wave of future. So it stands to reason that a lot of advisors are falling into that baby boomer camp themselves. So they are retiring. They're passing away, the same problems our clients have. But speak to the idea of the young people trying to come into this industry. And it's kind of like the old guard. In fact, I think there's still some firms that hire people based on, hey, if you start here, you know, you're going to have to bring families and friends along to do business with them. What's wrong with that process? Which that used to work maybe years ago, but today.
Yeah, I've had friends in the industry kind of have to go that route, and you're selling to friends and family, you're bringing your own prospects on board, and if you stick it out or not, those are clients of the firm. And if you don't hang around in the industry, they're going to appreciate your new leads and your family members. But without that senior guidance and mentorship and providing leads and clients to younger advisors, they're really not able to make it in the industry. So like you said, this whole retirement planning concept is really a generally new market. It's most people before 1978 didn't have to worry about managing a 401k or planning for retirement. It was all really done for them. So this wave of baby boomers, including those advisors that are retiring, are kind of leaving a hole. In some articles, 100 and 110,000 advisors they think we're going to be short in about 10 years.
110,000. That's unbelievable. Well, I know you've made some notes here and some different articles, and no particular order, but pick a few things here that kind of relate to this topic of what's going on.
So to that point we just spoke on, over the next decade, approximately 109,000 advisors plan to retire. That's accounting for 37.5% of the industry's headcount and about 42% of total assets. That's a lot of money.
Well, if I can piggyback on that, another point you found out here is, for instance, now them piggybacking on the fact, we're looking forward here, folks, but all these advisors are now retired. It says more than half of investors, this is currently age 55 to 65, spend 0% of their time doing any kind of retirement planning. So you got all those people going it alone, even if they want to find an advisor, which we're seeing that, well, eventually there's going to be fewer and fewer advisors to go find.
No, it's exactly right.
So I guess there's 6 things we picked up on. We could go on forever. Let me just read these off, Trey, and you can give me some feedback. But number 1, the average age of advisor. Obviously, it's going up. It's not being replaced. Why are younger advisors not entering the field? Do you have a take on that? Because obviously there's opportunity. Why are they not entering the field?
Well, it's kind of twofold. They are entering the field, but they're not sticking it out.
I see.
I think
Okay.
it is a attractive industry to get into. If you're a people person, if you understand money, you can do it. But if you don't have the guidance and the help, you're not going to hang around long.
Good point. Death. I'm going to do a segment on this. We've had more and more people come into us, had great advisors. They love their advisors. The advisors die. There's no business continuation plan. So death is a big one. Disability. Someone came in the other day, and I think I know this advisor very, very briefly. I know him, but he's been in an accident. So I think things are kind of not getting done at his firm because he was such the lead man, and there's no process there. They retire. We've talked about that. And then let's conclude with this. They just simply change firms. What happens when somebody leaves a firm, they go to another firm, and then that person's left at a firm with maybe no advisor or an advisor they don't know well?
Well, you just get sick of the revolving door. We talked about it earlier. When you go in and you see somebody new every single time, you're either going to be pitched a new product or given different advice or have no idea what you're even talking about. It gets pretty frustrating.
Yeah, we'll conclude with this. A gentleman called the other day and he said, I've been with this firm 10 years. It's always a revolving door. I finally found somebody I liked. I called the other day with a question. He's already gone. So we like the non-revolving door here. I appreciate you and Wes and Heather and all you do. And we're going to keep working hard to make sure that business continuation plan is in place. So thank you, Trey.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Folks, we'll be right back.
Tired of the roller coaster ride of the stock market? Let Tony Walker show you how to smooth out the ride with your money. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started.
This is Heather Hughes. I'm one of the full-time fiduciaries here at Tony Walker Financial. One of my main roles is to research and evaluate different annuities we offer to clients. One of our common complaints we hear from savers is that they don't understand what annuity they've purchased from another agent or advisor and how their money may be tied up. With that said, we'd like to educate clients on the 3 types of annuities for planning purposes. First is the short-term accumulation annuity. That typically has a surrender period of less than 5 years. A surrender period is a time frame during which there are restrictions on how much money you can withdraw from your annuity given any year. These annuities often offer fixed interest rates for a guaranteed period. Long-term accumulation annuities typically have a surrender period between 6 and 10 years. These are geared toward long-term potential growth. And finally, income annuities, or what we like to call mailbox money, provide lifetime income for you and or your spouse for as long as you live. We advise clients on what might be the best choice for annuities based on their individual circumstances and how it would best fit with their income plan. If you have questions before you purchase an annuity from another advisor, please feel free to email me at heather@TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Once a year, the entire staff at Tony Walker Financial meets for a full day and a half of fun, food, frolics, and yes, a serious discussion of what we did well for our clients the previous year and how we are going to improve our services for those same clients in the coming year. To kick off our year-end retreat, I decided for some reason to treat the entire staff to a couple of hours of bowling, complete with these cool Fred Flintstone bowling shirts, as well as myself teaching our own Shanna Zachary how to be more graceful while bowling.
Okay, this is Shanna Petty / Zachary. I've taught her a great move. There will be birds whistling as we do this. So get this on. You ready? We're trying to get to it. Right, Shanna? Here we go. Now!
During our staff retreat, just to be sure we kept our focus on how best to serve savers, I covered the common attributes of the saver client we serve and what makes them tick and appreciate the services offered by Tony Walker Financial. As I read off and explain these attributes, see if these are a good fit for you as well. Number 1, the most worry-free clients we serve are the client savers who come to us because they are simply in need of help. Basically, what they're saying is they don't understand money and more specifically, how the money will work for them in retirement, such as how to reduce taxes, various income needs, emergencies, and eventually how they're going to leave all this money to loved ones at death. They know we know how to do this through our written game plan and our 5-step process. The number 2 attribute of most savers is they want to be worry-free, and to do so relies on being trustful of others. In other words, savers are trusting people until you break that trust, and then they are not. And being in this business for 40 years and in working personally with over 3,500 customers, I can tell you the main theme of all that we do at Tony Walker Financial revolves around trust. It's about trust, especially when dealing with someone's life savings, and we value and appreciate that trust. Number 3, while some savers might admit to not being planners, they do appreciate having a plan. Problem is, they don't know how to plan for retirement because it's a new venture. And unfortunately, most in the financial world don't understand planning either. That's because retirement planning is a very new field to most advisors in the financial world. And while I began specializing in planning more than 20 years ago, that's not the case with many. And the reason you're hearing more and more people talk about retirement planning is, of course, you got over 11,000 people turning 65 each and every day. But again, just because someone calls himself a retirement planner doesn't mean they have the experience nor understand the art of retirement planning. Number 4, savers and sometimes even investors, as they get a little older and into retirement, have sometimes little or no interest in continuing to try to manage their own finances, even if they're capable of doing so. That is because they just kind of get tired of doing it, or they worry that as they get older and maybe not able to handle finances or pass away, that their loved ones, especially their spouse or partner, if that person that handles the finances passes away, are not going to understand what to do with the money. In fact, at Tony Walker Financial, last year alone, we had over 65 death claims, so we are well equipped to help those folks who lose loved ones so that the person that remains is able to continue to be worry-free in retirement. The next attribute of savers is the worry that comes along with dealing with something I call the dreaded tax tumor. That's the amount of money, folks, that is still buried inside your 401k, 403b, IRA, whatever it is pre-tax. And folks, the IRS is sitting there licking their chops waiting to get it. Problem is, many people don't have a plan to deal with their tax tumor. That's why at Tony Walker Financial, we have 2 full-time people on staff who are tax certified, and their role is not to fill out your tax returns. We don't do that. Their role is to help you plan to mitigate or minimize that tax tumor. So if any of these attributes sound like you, let's talk. And we've made this so easy to do, we call it the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call where you and I will talk by phone, and if it merits, we're going to meet in person to go through a complete analysis of your situation and provide you a free second opinion. So to take advantage of that, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started, or if you like, call us anytime at 877-499-9255. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Lisa with today's most common Social Security question. Can I withdraw my Social Security retirement claim and reapply later? If you change your mind about receiving benefits, you may be able to withdraw your Social Security claim if it has been less than 12 months since you were first entitled to benefits. To withdraw your claim, you must meet all the requirements, including requesting in writing and repaying all the benefits that you have received. If you withdraw your claim, you may reapply at a future date. But keep in mind, you can only cancel your benefits and reapply one time.
Wondering how much money you'll need to retire? Probably a lot less than you think. I'm retirement specialist Tony Walker, and for over 40 years I've helped thousands of savers determine when to retire and how much money they'll need in retirement, and I can help you too. To see if you can retire now, take advantage of our free 10-minute fiduciary phone call with me, Tony Walker, by logging on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call 877-499-9255. Our client spotlight today shines brightly on Mr. Doug Cox. And Mr. Cox, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, first of all, tell us a little bit about what you did. I know you've recently retired, but what you're doing now.
Well, I retired in May. I did machinist work for many years, and right now just enjoying retirement and the good life, and working with my brother in the horse racing business. And now with me having some free time and being retired, it works out well. It really does.
And if you could go back in time, how did you first learn about Tony Walker Financial?
Well, about 5 or 6 years ago, I was just watching on the weekends. I'd watch your broadcast, and the more I watched, the more I thought, this sounds really interesting. Like, I'd like to hear more what y'all do, and from the saver's perspective of things, and that's what initiated my call to talk to you.
So really that idea, that message that we really don't like to take a lot of risk, we want to make sure our clients don't run out of money, that just resonated with you?
Yeah, fit me to a T, really. It really did, because I'm more into hanging on to what I got, and I'm not a big risk taker, gambler, that kind of thing, and it's worked out well.
What's it been like working with the staff here at Tony Walker Financial?
It's been great, because it's all, it's new territory to me, and I've been educated, I've found out a whole lot, and the complete staff, top to bottom, the crew in Bowling Green that you have, and here, it's just really been great.
Well, Mr. Cox, we appreciate your business, and thank you so much, and hopefully many years of service to come.
Oh, well, I hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Are you looking for an advisor you can trust? Then schedule your free phone call with Tony at TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call 877-499-9255.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement with the money missionary himself, Tony Walker.
Today's show is based on the fact, let me repeat, the fact that if you are employing the services of a financial advisor, at some point in time, that advisor or the firm you are entrusting to be there for you all the way through retirement will not be. Whether the advisor retires, dies, becomes disabled, changes firms, or simply just gets out of the business for whatever reason, chances are you and your loved ones will be worrying about your money and your retirement longer than they will be around to assist you with your worries. And such are the ways of the world. As much as we might place our hope and trust in others to be around to assist us over the long haul, this usually does not happen. But not so with our God. You see, in God's eternal wisdom, believe it or not, He has already established a game plan for mankind to not only keep us from worrying about a future that's unpredictable at best, but also a game plan that delivers us from being stuck on an island all by ourselves. An island of misfits and roadblocks to nowhere, to now having a bridge to a mountain of joy, peace, and perfection. It's a game plan that takes us from a separated relationship to our God to a right relationship with Him. A written game plan allowing sinners to overcome the unrealistic objective of placing our trust in others, knowing that those in whom we trust will not be here forever. This game plan, whereby God offers deliverance from a life of pending doom to one of freedom and security, is what the Bible refers to as the God's plan of salvation. Salvation, as described by the Bible, is literally God's ability to take us sinners and set us free, to bridge the gap, if you will, that exists from here to there. It's a plan that required sending His Son to earth to die for us. Assuming, of course, you are a Christian, you know that God's plan of salvation involves not a life of works and trying to get from here to there on your own, but rather the deliverance from here to there by faith. Faith and trust in the finished work of Jesus Christ. Having faith in God's plan of salvation allows believers to see that Jesus is very much alive and, more importantly, seated at the right hand of God, making intercession for you and I when we continue to struggle here on earth. And best of all, He is just as anxious to be with us one day as we are as anxious to spend eternity with Him. But what about the trials, struggles, and worries over money while we are still here on this planet Earth? Can savers be delivered from the worries of the world over money and our plans for the future? Well, I like to think that is my calling. And as I see it, there are 3 ways we currently offer deliverance from the worries of the world brought on by a financial world that appears to care less. To help us, let's turn to Webster's dictionary and see some other versions of this word, salvation, and how it can be applied to you and Tony Walker Financial working together towards your retirement. Number 1, the definition of salvation includes the idea of being liberated from ignorance or illusion. I think it was Will Rogers who once noted, everyone is ignorant only on different subjects. And believe me, money is no exception to this truth. You see, the financial world knows most savers are ignorant about the details of money and all the complexities that come with retirement, so they create an illusion that only they can help you, seeing as though you don't understand this stuff, and thus they can easily take advantage of you by simply talking over your head or bullying you into thinking that you've got to have them to make money on your money, and of course they do all this as you blindly follow along with them. No wonder you stay worried about the future. Here's the definition number 2 of salvation. It's being delivered from the bondage of worrying in retirement. Now, this deals with avoiding failure in life. Now, no one likes to fail, I sure don't, but many retirees I meet who come to me for a second opinion are setting themselves up for failure by investing too much of their retirement savings in the stock market. They know they are taking too much risk, but they don't want to miss out when the market goes up. And if they do stay out of the market and instead keep their money safe, well, then they feel like they have failed in making more money on their money. All the while, here they are with no game plan. Either way, they have no peace about their money. A sad way to try to enjoy your retirement, and that's my job, to deliver you from this feeling of not wanting to fail by reminding you that you got to keep things safe and you got to keep things simple. And the only way to do that is with a written game plan that we and you can monitor together. The third definition of salvation is that we deliver people from their worries, from the dangers and difficulties that are posed by the financial world. Particularly, this is true of savers who have listened to a financial world constantly preaching what I call the guilt trip gospel. A message that says you got to save more and more money if you want any hope of comfortably retiring. Which is sad to see so many people come to me without a written game plan, who have all these products and investments that they don't understand, and worse yet, have difficulty in giving themselves permission to spend the money now versus later. The result? I see savers with themselves stockpiling all this money to a later age when all they do is just worry about either the nursing homes taking it away or even possibly Uncle Sam doing the same thing. In other words, they don't know how to get from here to there, and instead, they worry. Which is where we come into the picture. Our job at Tony Walker Financial is to deliver those savers from the burden of navigating the complexities of retirement, and we have a full-service staff that can help you do that. It's our mission, and it's one that includes understanding what it is you want to do with your money and in putting in place a plan to make it happen. So if you feel like the financial road you are on is doing nothing but creating worries, and maybe you are now beginning to ask that all-important question, what happens to my money when something happens to my advisor? Well, we need to talk. And we've made this so easy to do, and it's best of all, it's free. We call it the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call. And here's how easy it is for you and I to talk. Simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and you click on that Let's Get Started and we'll arrange the call. Or better yet, if the internet's not your thing, you can call us 24/7 and that number is 877-499-9255. Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's program. I've enjoyed being with you today, but you remember between now and next week, if all else fails, you be worry-free and you make it a good one.